Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Daily Debate, as tonight we'll be focusing on the celebrations in Egypt which took place yesterday and today, as well as we are celebrating as the Egyptian Copts in Egypt are celebrating the Day of Resurrection, or the Feast of Resurrection here in the country. And the celebration, of course, or the Easter Mass took place yesterday night on Saturday under the leadership of Pope Theodoros II, the Pope of Alexandria and the Holy Apostolic See of St. Mark, and the head of the Coptic Orthodox Church in the country. And we did see President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi sending a cable of greetings to Pope Theodoros II on the occasion, as we are seeing a symbol of national unity. The Muslims are celebrating and fasting during the holy month of Ramadan, and the Egyptian Christians and the Copts are celebrating the Day of Resurrection, or the Feast of Resurrection. We'll be having a report now, but on Labor Day, which Egypt celebrated on the 1st of the month of May, and President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi had a speech praising the workers of Egypt, and we'll be having more details on this speech in the upcoming report. So let's see it.
Abdel Fattah al-Sisi praised efforts of workers on Labor Day, describing them as the real wealth of the country and a driver for development. In a speech on Saturday, President al-Sisi said Egyptians have set an example in upholding the value of work since the beginning of the path for development in the past years. He added that it came despite daunting challenges that the country had faced, with the successive achievements and giant projects being proof of the ingenuity, of authenticity and steadfastness of determination of the nation to change the reality and progress to a better future. He stressed the necessity of competing amid rapidly changing production mechanisms and working methods through constant training to boost workers' capabilities and access to other nations' experiences. President Sisi affirmed the importance of workers having the highest levels of efficiency and dedication at work to accommodate the quantum leap witnessed by the world in innovation, technology, artificial intelligence, and mechanization. Saturday has been designated a paid holiday for public and private sector employees to mark Egypt's Labor Day.
The whole of Egypt, as we did see in the past report, celebrated the Labor Day on the 1st of May, and the speech of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, of course, about the efforts of the workers in the past few years under the leadership of President al-Sisi. Late last night on Saturday, the Egyptian Copts celebrated the Easter Mass under the leadership of Pope Theodoros II. On Sunday, they are celebrating the Day of Resurrection, or the Feast of Resurrection. In the past week, we celebrated the liberation of Sinai, the 39th anniversary, and the 10th of October war victory, as we are celebrating in a bigger picture in the month of the holy fasting month of Ramadan for the Muslims. But we'll be seeing in the upcoming report the cable of congratulations and greetings sent by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to Pope Theodoros II, the Pope of Alexandria and the Holy Apostolic See of St. Mark, and the head of the Coptic Orthodox Church in Egypt on the Day of Resurrection. So let's see it.
President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi on Saturday sent a cable to Pope Tawadros II of Alexandria and the Patriarch of the St. Mark and Holy See to greet him on Easter. In his letter, President el-Sisi hailed the good bonds of fraternity and sincere feelings shared by all Egyptians, Muslims and Christians, saying that he prays to Allah to protect Egypt and its great people and bless it with happiness and peace for always. The president sent a similar cable of greetings to the Egyptian expats abroad, wishing them a happy Easter. Meanwhile, Al-Azhar Grand Imam Sheikh Ahmed al-Tayyib held a telephone call with Pope Tawadros II to greet him on the Easter. During the telephone call, Sheikh al-Tayyib wished all Egyptians to live in stability and security on this occasion. On Thursday, Pope Tawadros II urged all Egyptians to abide by the COVID-19 precautionary measures announced by the government. He affirmed that the Church prays to God to end this pandemic in the world and stressing the necessity of wearing masks, preserve social distancing, eating healthy food and using sanitizers, especially during this Holy Week of celebrations.
Welcome back. You're still watching the Daily Debate and the very special episode shedding more light on the celebrations by the Egyptian Copts of the Day of Resurrection, or the Feast of Resurrection. And I'm honored to be having with me over the phone to be shedding more light on the celebrations and the meaning of the festivities is Archbishop Munir Anis, the Archbishop of the Anglican Province of Alexandria. Thank you very much for being with us today on the Daily Debate, and of course a happy Easter.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
First of all, how do you see the meaning of the Day of Resurrection, the Festival of Resurrection, the feast?
We see resurrection, which is a rise of Jesus Christ from the dead, as a symbol and a meaning of hope for us, because death is always bring lack of hope and despair, but resurrection bring hope that there is something better than death. Eternal life. So life after death gives a lot of hope to us.
Yes, of course the festival or the Feast of Resurrection is, it happens after a week long of festivals or feasts as well. Every day of the week it has a single meaning. What is the difference between every day before the Day of Resurrection?
Yes, before the Day of Resurrection, there was the Holy Week,
yes,
or the week where we celebrate the entry of Jesus into Jerusalem, and then the arrest of Jesus by the high priest, the Jewish high priest, and then handing him over to the Roman soldiers who crucified him and tortured him, and after, on Friday, he was buried, and early on Sunday, he rose from the dead. And this is what we celebrate, the resurrection or Easter Day.
Yes. Yes, and of course the celebration, it has in Egypt a very different meaning, because we have the holy month of Ramadan. At the same time, the Christians are celebrating the Day of Resurrection. How do you see the national unity, especially in the past few years?
The national unity is very obvious. This Easter, this celebration, we had many of our Muslim brothers and sisters who congratulated us for the feast. They sent beautiful messages. They came to attend with us, and we feel very warm and love congratulations from our Muslim neighbors all over. And this is beautiful spirit, which is natural for Egypt, natural for Egyptian, Christian and Muslim. And of course, we look forward to the end of Ramadan so that we can also congratulate our Muslim brothers and sisters for Eid al-Fitr.
Yes, on the other hand, both of those feasts, the Eid al-Fitr and of course the Day of Resurrection this year and in the past year as well, all of those feasts are happening within the times of the coronavirus pandemic. How do you see the celebrations that are taking place, but with the precautionary measures as we did see in the Easter Mass yesterday?
Of course, we had our precautions. We accepted only 25% of the worshippers in the cathedral, and we made tickets to limit the number who are coming to celebrate. And also we followed all the rules that prevent the infection of coronavirus, like distancing and also sterilization and wearing masks. We use all these things. But in spite of this difficult circumstances, it never stopped all the people, all Egyptian, Christian and Muslim, from celebrating and congratulating each other for this Easter Day.
Yes, specifically speaking about the celebrations of the Egyptians, as the Muslims are sharing the celebrations of the Christians and vice versa, specifically with the types of food and fish and sardines and all those types, they are being shared during those occasions and is very evident for the Muslims as well.
Yes, of course. As I said before,
yes.
This is not strange for Egyptian people. Egyptian, for 14 centuries, they shared each other feasts and they lived with each other. And I would say 14 centuries of national unity and religious harmony is very strong and very much rooted in the Egyptian culture.
Yes, during the sermon and the Easter Mass yesterday, how did you see the messages that were sent out by Pope Tawadros II?
Of course, the message that was sent by President Sisi is a symbol of all Egyptians. President Sisi set an example by congratulating the Pope. He is setting an example and sending a message that he is a president for all Egyptian Christians and Muslims. And he always says this. He doesn't say Christians and Muslims. He always say Egyptian.
Yes.
And by doing so, he's in fact leading by example. And he set a model for all people. And we can see more of our brothers and sisters congratulating us and a nice attitude because of the model President Sisi set in front of all Egyptians.
Yes, ever since 2013 or 2014, how do you see the promises given out by the government to be renovating the old churches and building new churches and the security as well for the Christians in Egypt? How do you see the promises made and being fulfilled or not, in your opinion?
Of course, this is again another message
Yes.
of national unity and the inclusive citizenship. That citizenship does not know religion. It's for citizenship of all Egyptians, and the government is trying to help all people regardless of their religion. So as they renovate mosques, they renovate also churches and so on. And this is a great message, which is, I should say, wonderful thing that's happening in the last few years.
Yes, Pope Tawadros II also mentioned the efforts of the policemen, specifically after the terrorist attacks that took place in the past few years. The efforts of the policemen are very evident to be regaining security and stability, not just for the Christians, not just for the Muslims, but for the whole of the country, for all of the citizens. How do you see this message in specific?
As I said, this is there is no discrimination whatsoever. As they guard Christians, they guard the Muslims, they guard Egyptian, and this is again affirmation of the right of citizenship, which our constitution affirms that all citizens are equal in front of the law, and they have their duties and they have their rights.
Yes, and finally, the route of the Holy Family or the Sacred Family that went through Egypt as a tourist destination for the Egyptians, for the foreigners, for the Christians from all over the world to be coming and seeing the route which was taken by Jesus Christ and Mother Mary. How do you see the importance of having a touristic attraction here in Egypt in this sense?
Of course, the visit of the Holy Family and taking refuge in Egypt is a very historical thing, and it deserves to be visited, visit the route of the Holy Family by all people in the world. And I'm sure people started to come, but when COVID finished, more people will come. This is a very important historical route, and many Christians all over the world would love to come and visit it.
Yes, exactly. And the Egyptians as well, they want to visit the route of the Holy Family that took place in Egypt. Archbishop Munir Anis, the Archbishop of the Anglican province of Alexandria. Thank you very much for being with us tonight on the Daily Debate, and the Happy Easter.
Happy Easter. Thank you so much.
Anytime.
Bye.
We will be having a quick break, and we'll be returning once again to you on the Daily Debate, so stay tuned. Welcome back. You're still watching the Daily Debate. As we discussed in the past segment, of course, the Easter Mass led by Pope Tawadros II, the Pope of Alexandria and the Holy Apostolic See of St. Mark, and the head of the Coptic Orthodox Church in Egypt. He led the Easter Mass on Saturday night. Today, the Christians in Egypt are celebrating the Day of Resurrection, or the Feast of Resurrection, as we had more information with Archbishop Munir Anis. I'm honored to be having with me in the studio right now Dr. Huda Dosti, servant at the Orthodox Counseling Institute at Maadi. Thank you very much for being with us tonight on the Daily Debate, and a happy
pleasure.
Easter.
Thank you very much.
First of all,
Ramadan.
to you too. Thank you very much. How did you celebrate yesterday? How did you celebrate today? And as you've mentioned, Ramadan is coming at the same time with the feasts or the festivities of the Christians.
Actually, our celebration was mainly family. We gathered yesterday and today, and some of the members mainly were a little bit sick, so we also gathered on FaceTime.
From outside of Egypt or
no,
inside?
from inside. So who
due
was
to the
not
coronavirus.
Yes, so
That's a very important aspect because the families. How do they spend those celebrations? Just at home through Zoom and the laptops and the mobile phones?
Mainly at home, and we get connected together through FaceTime or some.
Is it the same thing or?
Definitely, it's not the same thing. We miss a lot of members who couldn't join us, but this is it's a way out to gather together.
So how did you see the celebration at the cathedral? It had the same idea, the social distancing, a less number of people attending the mass. How do you see the importance of taking those precautionary measures during the mass itself and all over the country?
Actually, there were a lot of precautions taken in churches and in most churches that I have been visiting. And this was very, very wise, and Pope Tawadros has emphasized this at every time that we need to take care of all the precautions possible.
Yes.
And it was really, in a way, it was, you know, people are taking it quietly. It's more quiet, and maybe less number. Sometimes it's good in a way.
Yes.
In praying, so that it's not very crowded. But also we miss a lot of occasions for family being together.
Yes, of course we will be having more information about how Dr. Horados celebrated the day with her family and the extended family on FaceTime as she had mentioned. But I'm honored to be having with me over the phone Dr. Sharif Amir, the Professor of International Relations. Thank you very much for being with us tonight on the Daily Debate, and a happy Easter.
Thank you, and happy Easter to all of us.
Doctor, first of all, what does the Day of Resurrection mean to you?
Well, it's the new beginning, it's the new life, is the forgiveness of God in the Christian ideology. It means that God has forgiven for all humanity and starts a new beginning with us. I think it means also that we are initiated into a new process in life. This process means that we have to follow the teachings of love, tolerance, of forgiveness as we were forgiven, abiding to God's laws, which is mercy, justice, and charity. So it means new principles for human beings and a new life.
Yes, and the same concepts are being celebrated in Egypt through the holy fasting month of Ramadan for the Muslims. So the coincidence, is it a symbol for the national unity in your opinion?
Of course, because all the Egyptians are willing to follow God's commandments. It's in our nature since the times of the pharaohs till now. So this is in our genes, if we can call it like that. I think that it means that Egyptians are in unity in their religious festivities, as they are in unity in time of crisis, in time of joy. Nothing separates Copts and Muslims. And we have seen in all the tragedies and all the difficulties and all the happiness, Egyptians were together. No difference in wars, no difference in peace. We were always there on the same front, fighting for Egypt and worshiping God and asking His mercy upon our country.
Yes, one of the difficulties that we are all facing, not just in Egypt, but in the world, the COVID-19 pandemic, and the celebrations and the feasts and the months of peace are coming all together during those difficulties facing up against the coronavirus pandemic. How did you celebrate the feast? Of course, despite not able to be seeing your whole family all the time whenever you want. And as Dr. Huda Dos here said that she celebrated with her family on FaceTime, on Zoom, on the laptops, on the mobile phones.
Well, of course, this time it was very restrained. We are not able to be gathered as we used to have the gatherings like before.
Yes.
We have to take the precautions because of the COVID-19 and the third wave. We all heard about it. I think we could manage by taking these kind of precautions. We could manage saving lives, and peace will come anyway. So we could sacrifice this time, this unity of family. We have the possibility to spend it with a number of persons, not all the family. And the first and the most important thing is health and the precautions, because safety is very important in this crisis.
During the sermon of Pope Tawadros during the Easter Mass, how did he see the messages sent out to all the Egyptians and even to the neighboring countries as well?
Well, he stressed that Egypt is a country of tolerance and peace. Egypt is in unity, and Egypt has always been the messenger of peace between the nations. And the Nile is very important for us. We have to work for always the good relations with everyone, but our country is very important to us. Our life is very important because all the religions speak about the importance of human life. So I think that he was very clear that Egypt is the citadel of peace and stability.
Yes, and under the leadership or under the tenure of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, how do you see the promises that were given out by the government to be having more security and stability for the Christians in Egypt and building new churches and cathedrals and renovating the older ones? Are they being fulfilled, in your opinion?
Look, President Sisi is aware of, unfortunately, the heritage that was before of so much discrimination in many fields. He knows that Egypt's home front is the strength between all the Egyptians without any difference. So he's working hard to heal this wound and to work to show all the Egyptians that we are all the same. And the churches we have seen in the new cities, he always stressed that there has to be a mosque and a church. And I think he's working very, very hard in putting this message in the heads and the spirits of all the Egyptians, that your unity, Egyptians, is the priority. We all worship God, but at the end we are under the same flag, which is Egypt. So President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi is the leader who is working very hard to build this trust, this unity. Of course it will take time, but someone has to do it, and he has taken the charge to do it.
Yes, Dr. Sharif Amir, the Professor of International Relations, thank you very much for being with us tonight on the Daily Debate, and a happy Easter. Dr. Huda, I'll start with the efforts of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi under the leadership or under the tenure of President al-Sisi. How do you see the promises that were being given out by the government to be building new churches and cathedrals? And as Dr. Sharif mentioned, the cathedral of the Jesus Christ Nativity at the new administrative capital. What is the message that is being sent out there?
Actually, there has been many years of discrimination, and as it was shared before that
Yes.
it is time that someone should take the lead of our unity, and unity comes out from getting rid of all this discrimination.
But you feel the change now.
Definitely, I feel the change, but it needs to. It will take time because we have a lot of on our minds. Still, there are not full acceptance of the other different persons. So we need to accept each other, and this will take time. It is, but someone had to lead this, and thanks God that. Our president has made this achievement.
Yes. On the other hand, the messages sent out by Pope Tawadros II, the Pope of Alexandria and the Holy Apostolic See of St. Mark, to be more peaceful and to be praising the policemen and praising the armed forces yesterday, and even messages to the neighboring countries to be seeking peace and not conflict.
And Pope Tawadros has been very wise. Even if there are some comments from anyone, he would just say the positive parts of everything, which is the true part, that there are a lot of positives, and we can see the difference definitely. But maybe we as people in this country, we need to change and to accept. And we say that discrimination will break up the unity between us. And to be a strong country, we need to be in peace. And to be in peace, this will make us very strong and safe. So
but you
safety
sense a sense of national unity now.
Yes.
More than ever.
Yes, definitely. And before, on our feast, Resurrection Day,
Yes.
maybe it wasn't very popular that we find people celebrating or congratulating us for this day. But as we say, Happy Ramadan, why not Happy Resurrection Day? So there is no, this doesn't mean that...
both of the occasions at the same time.
So
now.
why not? It is an occasion. So when we get connected and we try to be joyful with each other in our occasions, different occasions. This is nice. This makes unity. So this is a part of it.
Yes, for all of the Egyptians as well, there is a sense of honesty. There is a relationship between President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and the people of Egypt, for all of the Egyptians, in terms of promises. How do you see the promises that were given out for the Christians to be building new churches, to be building new cathedrals, to be renovating the older ones? Security is a major factor now.
Actually, this has been very obvious that many churches has been, we have been permitted to be built recently.
And in a short space of time as well.
In a short, yes, that's true. So this makes us feel that we are members of this country. We are, and there is equality, and that's what we need sometimes to feel.
Yes, and there is a sense of cordiality and cooperation and coordination between the citizens, as we've mentioned before in an older episode about the traditions from ancient Egypt, that we are sharing the same traditions now in terms of even food that we eat on this day, the going out on this day.
This has been shared since
thousands of years.
2,700 years, Pharaohs has been celebrating almost in the same way, in the same style of food and all the stuff.
Yes.
And it was said that one of the pharaohs used to go up the pyramid, and he found when sunset came, and he rowed his boat again, and he left. There is a sign on the sky that is a reddish sign. This means there is life after death. So, and there is life for all the creatures. And so we believe in life after death since the pharaohs, and this is very long ago.
Tens of thousands of years. What does it say about us as Egyptians to be keeping the same traditions and keeping the love between the citizens, even with some minor differences?
Actually, you know, in the 4th century, it has been that the Egyptians were Christians and used to celebrate spring spring day or the feast, Yom al-Rabi'a,
Yes.
spring
And we're
day.
still called Copts.
Yes.
The Egyptians are Copts.
They're Copts. And they used to celebrate Spring Day at that time, and it was, there was fasting. It was fasting days, and they couldn't eat whatever they want. So they actually delayed this day to one day after the Resurrection Day. So that's why it is this
It's a
day
Monday, not a Sunday.
Yeah, and it is also called Eid al-Taqdeed, which is a renewal, feast of renewal.
Every year.
Yes. So
It's a promise of a new life every year.
of a new life, and so then all Egyptians celebrate together after that, after the one day after resurrection. So it's always one day after resurrection. It's not changed since then, because it should have been the 21st of March, which is the spring day.
Yes.
And then it was delayed for that reason.
Yes, during the sermon, and Pope Theodoros II, he also hailed the efforts and praised the efforts of the policemen, the security officials, the armed forces, to be keeping the country safe. How do you see the importance of the role, and specifically that he has mentioned them?
Really, they have been doing a great role about that. It was they're putting their lives actually in danger, because definitely a lot of them suffered a lot to take care of the country in general, and terrorism in the last period.
Yes.
And they really did a great role, and they sacrificed themselves a lot.
There was a law, number 80 in 2016, that means about 5 or 6 years ago, to be legalizing the renovation and building of new churches. How do you see this as progress, a legislative progress for the Christians in the country?
Definitely, this is a great progress.
So not just promises, it's a law.
Yes. That we can celebrate our feasts in peace, and all the securities around the churches everywhere, taking care of Christians, and this has been a really great job done.
Yes, in terms of tourism as well,
yes.
An important thing to do, the route of the Holy Family coming through Egypt, and as Egypt has been taken as a refuge for the Holy Family. How do you see the importance of the country to be giving this route as a priority for tourism now? Not just for the people coming from different religions or from Christianity, but for the Egyptians as well, to be knowing more.
I remember once I had this program with you, and one of my dreams that we make more tourism for the Holy Family tour in Egypt, and this is really would be very, very nice to attract tourism because Jesus has visited a lot of places here with St. Mary, so this could be a very organized trips, very nice organized trips.
And one of the places
tourism.
was Maadi, I think.
Yes, on Maadi in the St.
What
Mary's
happened there?
Church.
Yes.
In St. Mary Church, actually there is...
on the Nile.
On the Nile,
Yes.
yeah. And actually they found a Bible that says, Mubarak Sha'b Masr, blessed are the people of Egypt. And they found a Bible floating, and this Bible is there in St. Mary's Church, where St. Mary and Jesus has visited.
So one of the oldest.
Yes.
What does this say about Egypt for the Christians all over the world, not just in Egypt?
That Egypt is blessed, and it is said in the Bible that blessed the people of Egypt. So we are really blessed.
You know, of course, a lot of people from all over the world in different countries, from the US, from Australia, your extended family, for example. How do they see Egypt now, the new Egypt, now under the leadership of President Al-Sisi, in terms of cordiality and the love between the citizens?
Actually, people outside Egypt, they can tell the difference, and they can see the difference. And they feel that we are more peaceful than before. Our country is in peace. We are regaining our peace. It has been always a peaceful country. So thanks God for that.
Yes, Dr. Huda Dost, the servant at the Orthodox Counseling Institute at Maadi. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you for, I'm very pleased to be here in the day of resurrection. And this is a very special day for us because, you know, it was the mission of Jesus is to die on the cross as a final perfect sacrifice. Actually, we say Jesus is the Son of God. And this points to a unique and close relationship between God and the Father and Jesus the Son.
Yes.
And it refers to the essence and the true nature of God. So we believe in one God. And God the Father, Son, Holy Spirit is a unity based on the manifestation of one God. And we say that God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him will really shall not perish but have an eternal life. So we believe in life after death, and that's why we see, you know, all who you know, the 20 those in Libya who were
the martyrs.
Yes, the martyrs. They were very happy because they knew that there is life after death.
Of course.
So I'm very pleased to be here on the Resurrection Day.
Yes,
Thank you.
I'm even more pleased to be having you. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you.
A happy Easter, Dr. Huda Dost, the servant at the Orthodox Counseling Institute at Maadi. Thank you very much once again. And this brings us to the end of a very special episode of the Daily Debate celebrating Easter in Egypt. Thank you for watching and goodbye.
Thank you.